I could only dream to be this popular. That's crazy. Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Good? Yeah. Awesome. Well, it sounds like a lot of you guys already know these students, so that's awesome. But wow, does that feel good? Yeah. But just in case you don't know them, I'm gonna have you guys share. I want you to share your name, your major, and your middle name. Okay? Because a lot of people may not know your middle name, so we got to go and get it out there. Starting with you. What's your name, Hannah?
Hey, my name is Hannah Anik.
Say hi, Hannah.
Wow!
Popular.
I am an accounting major, and my middle name is Shengya.
That is so cool.
My name is Devin. I'm a social work major, and my middle name is Patricia, and people call me Fatty Patty.
Use that.
Hi, my name's Caleb Waller. I'm a mechanical engineering major, and my middle name's Michael.
Very good.
Hey, my name is Sam. I'm a chemical engineering major, and my middle name is Thomas.
Wow. Those are solid middle names. I love those middle names. Thanks for sharing, guys. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about your stories tonight. I just want to start, though, with, let's take it all the way back to freshman year, okay? Because all of you are seniors, as we heard. Channel your inner, freshman year, it's like welcome weekend, you don't know anyone, you're wandering around campus. Give me a picture, starting with you, Sam. Give me a picture, where are you at spiritually?
Okay, so when I first came to CBU, I was just hey, I would call myself a Christian, but I really had no idea what that meant. I didn't know the first thing about Jesus. I thought it was kind of this works-based view, so it's I knew the right things to do, but I didn't even follow them, so I was my own biggest hypocrite, and then I would just expect everybody else to do these things. Yeah.
I would say I grew up in the church, and a few years before I came to CBU, I was freshly committed to Jesus and realizing that I need to follow him rightly, and then I was trying to share my faith and trying to grow spiritually. And coming to CBU, being around the discipleship staff and just people who were growing here, I realized that I was really stagnant in my faith because I was trying to grow by myself. And I realized that growing was a community thing when I got here at CBU.
I also grew up in the church, and then around high school time, had some church hurt and stopped going to church until freshman year of college, when my two roommates that I met for the first time brought me back to church. I came into CBU with some questionable morals, called myself a Christian because I held on to those morals. And then, freshman year, met Jordan Rodseth and got challenged within my faith and realized I actually didn't really believe or know what the gospel truly was.
Yeah, similar to them, I also would consider myself a Christian. I had grown up in a Christian home my whole life. I went to church on Sundays, occasionally went to the youth group on Wednesday. I was generally a good person, but I definitely couldn't say I had a relationship with Christ. And that was mainly because I had always felt like he was some faraway God. And my faith definitely was not my own.
Yeah. Thank you guys for sharing that. Yeah, I think it really sets up well, how God worked in your stories differently at CBU. So you guys kind of mentioned this, a couple of you, but will you guys just touch on, obviously you're in a different place now. So, how'd you get there? What was, a pivotal, I will never forget this moment, this was when it changed for me? Hannah?
Yeah, I would say for me, it kind of changed when I started reading my word consistently. When I was reading through the 4 gospel accounts, all the stories I had grown up hearing in church suddenly became real to me, and I suddenly began to get a renewed picture of who Jesus really was. And I also was a part of a discipleship group my sophomore year, and we read through the book Gentle and Lowly. It totally changed my perspective on how God is a loving God who wants a relationship with us.
Freshman year, I met a really cute boy who did have a relationship with the Lord.
Wait. Are you engaged to that
I am
guy now?
engaged, okay.
Where's Matthew? Is he in here? There he is.
Hey.
Yeah. That was not planned, but that was really cute.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I met Matthew. He challenged me in my faith. I met Jordan. I pushed her away because I was already being challenged by Matthew. That was just too much. And then Matthew instantly got into spiritual life relationships, and he was being mentored and discipled by Ryan. And so I actually saw their relationship develop, got kind of jealous, wanted that for myself, and actually saw the benefits of what that was doing for Matthew. And so I walked up to Jordan Rodseth after I already basically pushed her away. And I walked up to her in the middle of the calf, and I was like, hey, you know Matthew and Ryan and the relationship that they have? Can we have that? Can you be my mentor? And she was just like, yeah. And so we met consistently after that, and now she's in my wedding. Hey.
Oh, there she is.
During a summer service project, there was this conference that some missionaries put on. They went to this tribe and in a small jungle where no one would know where it was at, and they presented what they did, and they put a slide up of the people's faces, and I teared up, and it's not they like me to tear up, but I was just captivated by how Jesus is not just this figure that is a part of my American culture or how I grew up, but he's a God of all people everywhere, and he really deeply cares about even the people in this small tribe that no one knows about, and that changed my perspective.
Give it up. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was my freshman year. I started going to a Bible study because one of my friends invited me. It was global. And then from there, I met with Ryan, which is who Devin was talking about, same guy. Matthew's mentor, Ryan. So, but anyways, so I met up with him, and he started meeting with me, and he shared the gospel with me through the bridge, and he kind of helped me realize that, hey, what I have been thinking this whole time was who Jesus was, and with what the gospel was not true. And he walked me through that, and then he asked me Sam, if you were to die right now, what are the odds that you would get into heaven? And I looked at him and I said, well, honestly, based on what you just told me, there's no chance I'm going to heaven. But what was so beautiful about Ryan is he didn't leave me there. He didn't just say oh, well, that's too bad. He invited me into discipleship groups and wanted to actually invest in me and continued to invite me into that space. And through just meeting with him more, having more conversations with him and other friends, I came to know Christ that summer. So yeah.
Praise God. That's so cool. Yeah, so thanks for sharing those moments. So I want to ask you, Hannah, as someone who came in as a Christian, I'm sure a lot of you guys can resonate, growing up in a Christian home, maybe you'd heard the word discipleship, but describe to me kind of what that word meant to you when you got to CBU, and then how that changed over time.
Yeah, so I grew up in the church, so the word discipleship wasn't strange to me, but I definitely was under the perception that discipleship was for the super mature Christian, the older Christian, maybe the people that had a special call to ministry, like pastors or missionaries, that had a call to shepherd people. And that really changed when I came to CBU and I saw ordinary people pouring into other ordinary people and saw that it wasn't for the quote-unquote Christian elite, and it really can happen in the spaces that you're already engaging in.
So good. So solid. Yeah. So then, Sam, I want to ask you too, just as maybe the opposite end of that spectrum, coming in maybe without a lot of Christian knowledge or whatever. What did the word discipleship mean to you? Or did you even know what that word was? Tell me about that.
Yeah, coming into CBU, I honestly had I'd heard of discipleship before. Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard of it. But when I first came, I was oh, okay, this is probably what people do. It's mentorship, it's how people teach each other. But just in seeing how Ryan was leading this discipleship group, how he was a just normal person just like me, who was being used by God and having a desire to invest in me and invest in other people alongside me is really like, it changed my mindset to where it's like, oh no, this is what discipleship is. It's like just ordinary people doing extraordinary things through the work of God. And yeah.
So good.
And another thing, at my church, we have this like portrait in the downstairs area at Redeemer that says, discipleship is like climbing Mount Everest. And so you always have someone ahead of you and someone behind you. And yeah, that was something I saw modeled by Ryan as well, just like having someone who's investing in him, which was Stephen, and then him pouring that into me.
Dang, that's so cool. Yeah, so I want to ask you, Caleb. You mentioned a pivotal moment where, things started to kind of click for you. Were there any other maybe longer like periods of time where you were like, man, I look back on that as like a huge moment of spiritual growth in my life at CBU?
Yeah, I went on a summer service project hosted by SL, and it was in Redlands for 6 weeks, and we lived there, and we engaged the culture with the gospel, and it was a team of other college students in my year, and yeah, that time was just so impactful because we were reading the word daily, we were praying daily, we were a part of, or we were evangelizing daily, and we were inviting the local church in that and being a part of the local church, serving there. So it was really impactful for me. I guess the reason it was so impactful is because I spent so much focused time devoted to building these habits that I still have today.
Dang, yeah. Yeah, was there like a moment that you were like, man, like this is the way I want to walk away, and like this is something I want to reproduce in my life. Like this is something I want to emulate, back home or back at campus. Like, can you think of a moment like that?
Yeah, I think it was many moments of exactly just doing the faith with others. It's hard to grow by yourself, and all of us were doing the same thing together, encouraging each other. Matthew was my roommate, and he was he would share the gospel and be going after it, and I'd be discouraged but encouraged by him, and then I would be going after it and encourage him, and just that model, or just that getting around people who are growing spiritually, getting under people like Sam's talking about, was something I saw modeled and that I continue to do today.
Yeah, dang, that's so cool. Yeah, so same with you, Devin. I know that you had a maybe similar kind of condensed summer experience. Can you tell us about that? Like, what did that look like for you?
This last summer I was in the Middle East for 2 months through a ISP trip through SL.
That's awesome. So with that, that's, first of all, crazy, right? Like, I mean, I knew you your freshman year. Like, I think we were just talking about this. It's like, dang, like, you never would have probably thought you'd be in the Middle East for 2 months,
Not at all.
during your summer. So tell me about that. Like, what, like, maybe for you too, as I asked Caleb, was there, like, a specific moment you're like, man, this was a crazy, like, night and day. Like, things are not going to be different in my life when I return from this trip?
Yeah. It was the first week we got thrown in there, just us, with our like field leaders who were there already. But it was the 4 of us girls, and I was technically the leader of the team, and so I took that so personal, and I stood on my pride with that, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go and attack the Middle East with the gospel. And I'm going to share the gospel to so many people, so many Muslims are going to come to faith. I'm really going to do the Lord's work right now. And that did not happen at all. And the first week, it was just like I was watching my teammates do everything and build those relationships and have those conversations and lead us through other relationships. And it was so like it hurt my pride and it hurt my ego to see that I wasn't the reason we were doing well, which was very humbling, as you can imagine. Yeah. And realizing that brought me genuinely to my knees and asking the Lord to help me be faithful with what that day looked like in front of me, whether it was prayer walking and opening the Bible, just me and God, or whether it was talking to other Muslim women that we met, or it was sharing the gospel and having spiritual conversations, no matter the severity of what I thought it could be, like high or low, it all mattered, and I had to understand that it all mattered. And I had to understand that abiding in the Lord was a huge lesson I had to learn overseas. Like, you would have thought that I would learn that here, but I had to be overseas to, like, really shock my pride. Yeah, I think that answers it.
No, I love that because, I don't know, I remember going on an ISP trip as well, and, like, you think sometimes, and sometimes there are really big moments, right? But even just realizing, like, how necessary abiding and spending time with God is, even just in that context, right? You're just learning how to be faithful and learning that, yeah, God doesn't need us, but, like, he chooses to use us. And so, yeah, that's super cool. So I want to move on to Hannah. Where we left off, right? You mentioned, just discipleship being for the Christian elite. Like, that's kind of the mentality you came in to CBU with. So as you began to learn, man, my peers are sharing the gospel. Like, they're not perfect at it, but, like, they're trying it, right? So tell me about the first time. Paint me this picture, okay? What's the first time you shared the gospel with someone? And what did that look like at CBU?
Yeah, okay, so to set the scene, I was an RA in Simmons Hall. Shout out Simmons Hall.
Okay, Simmons.
The first time I shared the gospel was with one of my residents from Simmons. I was a sophomore, and I was so nervous. My throat was dry, and my voice was shaky, and I felt like I was going to pee my pants. And I remember thinking, like, oh, I really want to hone in on the fact that Jesus is the ultimate sacrifice. Like, he paid the death, or he died the death that we deserve. And so I was so focused on that, so nervous, that I completely skipped the resurrection.
It's okay. It happens.
So
what happened?
So she said that she believed it, which was so cool. And I remember sitting in that moment and having this aha moment of, like, wow, this is so cool. And then there was immediate panic because I was like, wait, what do I do next? And
she actually believes this. It's like, what do you do now?
So I took that back to my mentor and the person who was discipling me at the time, and she helped me walk through, like, what next steps look like with that resident and the conversations that we need to have in order for her to fully commit her life to Christ.
Dang, that's so cool. Wow, it's so cool to see, like, you didn't necessarily get everything perfect, right? But even just seeing how the gospel speaks for itself, right? Like, we just get to share and be obedient, and how God worked in that. Like, that's so cool. So Devin, I want to go back to you. I know we've talked about this a little bit. Can you paint me the picture of when you first shared the gospel? What was that like for you?
I actually don't remember the, beginnings of it all. It was all blur, truly. But I do remember it was sophomore year, and my roommates from freshman year, we took on a new roommate who happened to be my teammate. And I remember learning the bridge in a way that I could then teach it. And I got so excited, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this with my new roommate / same teammate. And so I brought it to our room in Colony, and I walked up to her, and I think, the table in the kitchen, that's not really a kitchen, and I was like, hey, Morgan, do you mind if I, just practice this on you? It's something I just learned. And she was, totally down for it, and I was like, okay, yes. And so I was walking through the bridge step by step on how, I literally just learned it. And at the end, I don't think either of us realized, but it was a very, pivotal moment for both of us. For me, realizing that this is something that I can do. It's not that, it's kind of intimidating, but it's at the end of the day, it's not that hard. And for her, that she just heard the gospel, and that was awesome. And now Morgan, alongside another girl that I've gotten to disciple, Reese, we actually have gone to the entirety of our team with the gospel. And Morgan and I get to now co-labor together, which I would never have imagined when I first practiced it with her.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool. Shout out Morgan. Again, the gospel speaks for itself, and it's so cool to see, you were technically just practicing, right? But hey, practice, it's still the gospel, right? Like, she still got to hear it. That's so, so cool. So with that, yeah, Sam, I want to ask you, yeah, like, again, you came into CBU not even knowing maybe the word discipleship, right? And then growing in your faith and being told, like, now you can share this, like, with other people. So as you started making your own disciples, what was, like, the first thing you were like, man, Ryan taught me this, and I really need to pass this on. Like, I know I want to pass this on to my disciples.
Yeah, so honestly, when I first started having a discipleship group, I had no idea what I was doing. And I was meeting with Ryan, like, in the morning it was on Thursday mornings after one of my classes, and he would go over with me and Matthew different material that we were learning in the discipleship group, and then later that evening, I was passing that on to people who I was meeting with for a discipleship group.
That's awesome.
And so it was like, kind of, these were things that he had originally shown me, like, the year before when I was first going through discipleship with him. And I just thought it was like, man, this is great. And he was willing to, like, re-go through it with us, show us how to teach it, show us how to pass it on to other people. And yeah, so it was like the vision for discipleship, the wheel, the bridge. So, like, diagnostic tools, like why we're even there. And yeah, just the gospel itself and how to share that with other people.
Dang, that's so cool. Yeah, and then we'll take it back to Hannah. I'm curious, yeah, Hannah, same for you. Like, what was that first thing you're like, I have to teach this to my disciples now because it was taught to me?
I think the biggest thing for me was I wanted to teach that idea of loving God and loving his people. I think that when we have a true understanding of the way God has transformed our life and we love his people well, discipleship actually comes really naturally.
Yeah.
We tend to talk about the things that we love, and I think the most loving thing we can do is share a message that could save someone's soul.
Dang.
And this is something that I saw the person who discipled me. Her name is Allie. She did this really well. She was actually my best friend's RA. I wasn't even her resident. And she just welcomed me in with open arms and loving hospitality each time.
That's so cool. I love that. Yeah. So then, Caleb, I want to go back to you. You mentioned you're an engineering major. I was not an engineering major. I was a photography major. So it just sounds like a lot to me. Like, engineering just sounds like a lot. So can you just tell me, like, what, as you grew in your understanding of discipleship and you realized, like, okay, I want to prioritize this in my life, like, what did that actually look like on a logistical level? Like, how do you make time to make disciples just as a college student, much less an engineering major? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I would say you make time for what's important to you. And that's something that, like, has rung in my head for a long time. And yeah, I think another thing is that, like Brian Zuniga says, you can say no to good things in order to say yes to great things. And just to give a little context to show, like, what is possible, I'm dyslexic. I have a slow processing speed. I'm a mechanical engineering major. I've taken 18 units every semester since I've been here. I've been a faithful member of a local church, and I've faithfully shared, like, my faith and discipled people. And so, like, it's possible to do these things. You just have to figure out where your priorities lie and show up. Yeah, you said practically. Like, it's just showing up to class early and talking to people, and it's inviting people to lunch. You have 3 meals in a day, and so. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to make it practical, but I think it starts at the heart, and yeah, Jesus is worth it.
Come on. So good. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, as Devin mentioned, she's on a team. Can you share what team you're on with us, please?
Women's water polo.
Lights up. So, with that, you're an athlete, bro. Like, how in the world do you make time for this? Like, how do you, like, you're, like, trying to share with your whole team right now? Or, like, you have? So, like, yeah, walk me through that. Like, logistically, like, how, I mean, I know Caleb mentioned some things, but I'm just curious, like, what did that look like for you? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, going off of what Caleb said, within the busyness of it all, there's still time. I don't know how to explain it, but there is still time. Like Caleb said, you have 3 meals of the day. And so I've realized that, yes, I'm coming from a practice that was exhausting, but I still have to eat breakfast. So who can I invite to breakfast with me to have that intentional conversation? And then being an athlete has opened doors to working within athlete ministry, and then even working within my team. And so realizing that I don't have to go across the street, or I don't have to go into like Colony or into the engineering building that I'm not even familiar with. Like I don't have to go somewhere else to share the gospel. I have open doors and I have non-believers right next to me that are just as important. And I have those people on my team that I even have more compassion for because we're with each other 20 plus hours of the week.
Yeah.
And then another thing with that is obviously being an athlete or being an engineer student or just existing. It takes energy. And we delegate where our energy goes. And I've had to realize that what Hannah and both Caleb were saying is that your priorities do lie to what matters most to you. And so, yes, things are scheduled for me, like my practices, my weights, whatever. And I have to do those things. Well, I can quit, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I have to do those things if I want to stay on the women's water polo team. But I don't have to disciple. I don't have to share the gospel. I don't have to spend my nap time or my crafting time with other people. I don't have to do it. And I think realizing that discipling is a habit that you get to build. Nobody's forcing you to put it into your schedule, but honestly, when your priorities and your allegiances align with that, it's something that you want to do and something you get to do.
Shoot, that's so good. Yeah. So, follow-up question for you, Devin. I'm going to pick on you for a second. Sorry. I know Devin. So, we were just talking about this before, but like, there's also just this element, maybe like emotionally, spiritually, of like, I don't fit this mold of discipleship. Like, I am an athlete, like came in with like a maybe misunderstanding of who Jesus was or what he meant to you. So talk me through that. Like what convinced you that you could and should make disciples in college and that you were capable of that?
Kind of what Hannah said. The people who were investing into me, once I let my stubbornness go and I allowed myself to open up to these people, I saw how normal they were and how they also love you guys, but also make mistakes and also get tired within spiritual conversations. And yeah, I saw the normalcy. That's a big word for Elmo.
You did great. Yeah. You did great.
I saw the normalcy.
Good job.
Of who was discipling me. And so it allowed me to realize that I can do that too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's so good.
The other thing is that looking back, I was such a broken person coming into college. Whoa, don't cry. Anyway, I was such a broken person coming into college, and I had no vision or direction or purpose in life. And now that I do, it really fuels the fire as to what I do. And it gives me passion and compassion to see other broken people who are lost and have no purpose and are truly seeking for something to worship, something to put ahead of them. And so, yeah, allowing that to fuel my fire gives me more reason to push through my tiredness and more reason to make it a priority and more reason to have love and compassion for these people who keep messing up just like I did.
Dang. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I think about how Jesus saw the crowds, right? And the first thing he thought is compassion. And I just see that in all of you guys. Like, because God has transformed your lives, like, now you want to do this. It's not just this obligation, but, you know, it's out of your heart, right? Out of, like, the way that Jesus has transformed you. That's just so beautiful and cool. Okay, I'm going to skip forward a little bit. So, Caleb, I just want to ask a simple question. How do you think your purpose in life has transformed since college?
I'd say when I got here, I wanted to own a engineering company and get a stable job with a family, and that was like the big thing for me. I was like, this is my purpose. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it super well. And then just coming to CBU, being around people like Luke Brungart and Nevin, and seeing them give up things to reach people, learning that there's 3.8 billion people who will live and die and never hear about Jesus unless we do something about it. It changed me a little bit. I still I love engineering. I love like all the things, but I want to use all of that to bring Jesus' name to places where it's not been heard before. And so, yeah, I guess that would be my purpose now.
Dude, yeah, that's so cool. Well, this has been great. I can't believe how time flies. Yeah, I want to ask you so many more questions, but just so you guys know, like, these are students who go to school here. Like, you guys can grab coffee with them. Like, and they're only here for one more semester, so time is short. But, like, yeah, I know. Isn't that sad? Anyways, yeah, that being said, like, please keep asking these guys questions. But with that, I just want to ask, like, picture again, go back to your freshman year self, okay? And what is, like, the one thing you would tell your freshman year self? Like, what's the one bit of advice you would give? And noting that there are freshmen in the room, right? Like, what's the one thing you wish you could go tell yourself now?
Yeah, so I would probably tell myself, like, hey, 4 years is going to go by really fast. Like, thinking back, like, I'm already a senior. And you really need to make the most of the time that you have while you're in college. Just get invested in by other people, and, yeah, take advantage of the resources here.
Yeah, I would say find someone that you really admire on discipleship staff and go bug them and make them disciple you. And they're not that scary. That's what I tell myself.
As someone who leans on the pride side, it's really easy to think that it's all on your shoulders, and that if you don't have the right skills or tools or relationships, or if you're not a good enough Christian, then this isn't for you. But truly, the work is not about who you are. It's about who God is, and the work that he can do through you.
I would say that discipleship doesn't start when you feel ready. It's a lifelong process. It's often uncomfortable, but it's the most satisfying thing you'll ever do in this life.
Can we give it up for these guys? Yeah. 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 Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully you've seen, they're a wealth of wisdom, okay? Like, you should hang out with them. They're awesome. With that, yeah, because you guys are all seniors, I wanted to take a second to just pray for you guys, and pray for this next season of your life. As Bella and I mentioned, like, it's really not been that long since we were there. And, like, I know what it's like. It's like the future. Oh my gosh. Like, what job am I going to get? And, like, how am I going to make disciples in the next season of my life? But I also want to recognize that there's probably a lot of seniors in the crowd right now who might also be feeling that way. Hate to put you on the spot, but if you are a senior in the room, could you stand up for a second? Yeah? Give it up for our seniors, guys. Stay standing, please, for a second. Yeah. 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 I just want to acknowledge, like, you guys could be a lot of places right now. Like, you probably have a lot of things you could be doing, and you're here learning and being teachable and learning from these guys too. And so I just want to thank you guys for that, and just thank you for your faithfulness. And I just want to pray for you guys real quick before we head out. So let me pray for us. God, thank you so much for this night. God, thank you for this amazing semester of SL nights, Father. And specifically, I just want to thank you for our seniors, God. Yeah, thank you for their faithfulness. As I said, just they could be a lot of places, Lord, but I just thank you for the work that you're doing in their life. I thank you for this panel, Lord, and the work that you've done in their life, and the people that came before them, Lord, that came before them, that allowed them to hear the gospel, Lord, and for it to be transforming their lives, Lord, but also the people under them. God, I pray that for all of these seniors, Lord, that you would only ignite their fire to grow in making disciples as they leave this place, God, that this wouldn't just be a phase that they look back on 50 years from now and say, oh, that was a great time in my life, God. I pray that that would be the overflow of the rest of their days, Father, that you would use them in mighty ways. Just as Sam said, Lord, just ordinary people doing extraordinary things, Father. We can only do that through your Holy Spirit, God. And so I pray that we would just abide in your word, that we would constantly be growing in just prayer and fellowship and evangelism and reading your word, Lord, every single day. And God, I pray that you'd bless these seniors, God, that you would, just give them fruitful lives, Lord. Bless them and, keep them as they go from this place. And we thank you, Lord, for all that you're doing for us. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.